There were supposed to be 58 stars on that flag. You have been looking at the wrong map your entire life. The 50-state map you learned in school is not a geographic inevitability. Beneath those familiar lines are the borders of ghost states. These were fully organized governments. They had their own constitutions, elected officials, functioning courts, and meticulously surveyed borders. They followed every rule of American democracy, organized their populations, and petitioned for statehood, and then they were erased entirely from the official timeline. The United States map is a history of erased choices. We will examine the 4 most dramatic lost states to understand how a state is destroyed. In 1784, the American Revolution ended. North Carolina decided its rugged western frontier was too expensive, voting to cede the territory to the federal government. The stranded Appalachian settlers immediately organized the state of Franklin, drafting a constitution and running a functioning economy for 4 years. This tally board shows the result of their petition to the Continental Congress. They secured 7 votes for admission, but the rules required a minimum of 9. The erasure of Franklin established a brutal precedent. A fully functioning state government vanished because it lacked 2 votes in a distant legislative room. By 1848, the United States had acquired massive new territory from Mexico. In the Salt Lake Valley, Mormon pioneers, led by Brigham Young, were already irrigating the desert and building a new agricultural society. They drafted a constitution for the state of Deseret. The scale was staggering. The proposed boundaries swallowed the modern West and included Pacific coastline all the way to San Diego. Congress panicked over the size of this political bloc. Through the Compromise of 1850, lawmakers neutralized the threat by slicing California and New Mexico away, reducing the empire to the landlocked Utah territory. Federal fear of a unified Western bloc forced the creation of a fragmented map, delaying local statehood for nearly half a century. Following their forced removal in the 1830s, the 5 civilized tribes rebuilt highly advanced republics in Indian Territory. They established bilingual public school systems, published newspapers, and governed under complex constitutions. In 1905, these nations faced an existential threat. Congress was moving to permanently dissolve their governments and open their lands to non-native settlement. This graphic tracks the territory-wide popular vote on a new constitution for the proposed Native American state of Sequoyah. Over 65,000 people voted yes, against fewer than 800 voting no, an approval margin of nearly 99%. President Theodore Roosevelt and a Republican Congress ignored this overwhelming Democratic mandate entirely, choosing to engineer a combined, politically manageable state of Oklahoma instead. Sequoyah's erasure is the ultimate Democratic paradox. Executing a perfect popular mandate by the rules of American democracy was completely useless against federal political maneuvering. In 1941, the isolated communities of Northern California and Southern Oregon shared a resource-based economy built on mining and logging. They also shared roads that were chronically neglected by distant state capitals. The locals responded with a radical protest. Armed loggers blockaded highways and handed out proclamations, declaring they would secede to form the independent state of Jefferson every Thursday until they received better representation. The blockade made national headlines. But on December 7, 1941, the Pearl Harbor attack instantly paralyzed the secession movement as national attention pivoted to war. Unlike previous ghost states, the Jefferson movement simply hibernated. You can still see Jefferson flags flying in these communities today. Jefferson's 83-year persistence proves that distant governments ignoring local realities is a permanent, unresolved feature of the American map. American democracy is built on the proposition that the people decide. These lost states represent what happens when institutions step in and overrule the people's math. When you illuminate all 8 of these major proposals, including Absaroka, Superior, Transylvania, and Nickajack, you see a completely different continent. Every border on the modern map was a specific choice made by specific people, usually without the consent of the populations living inside those lines. The map is not a law of nature. It is a historical record of political winners and losers. 50 states was never destiny. To understand the country that survived, You have to look closely at the versions of America that were destroyed.
Did every proposed state mentioned in the documentary because an official US state? So please guys answer my question. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, take care. And this question is literally very easy. Really, this question is very easy. So try this my question answer. And first of all, thank you so much for watching this video. So goodbye and take care.